My research looks at the impact of trade liberalization on poverty in Fiji. Now, some of you may ask, what is trade liberalization? Generally speaking, trade liberalization is the process of moving towards a freer trade regime. One major aspect of trade liberalization is the reduction or removal of taxes on imports, or commonly known as tariffs. Why trade liberalization? Economists assent that trade liberalization has been the central factor in determining the growth rates of industrial countries since the mid-20th century. As a result, trade liberalization has been regarded as a key component of any developing nation's policy toolbox. The idea is that trade liberalization stimulates economic growth and that this generally alleviates poverty. Now, like many other developing countries, protection of domestic industries was a key part of trade policy in Fiji. Serious attempts to liberalize trade only started in the late 1980s. Since then, trade liberalization has carried the day. 20 years later, and despite an increase in trade, there are now serious concerns as to whether Fiji has been able to derive any significant benefits from the ongoing process of trade liberalization. Why and what has happened? There has been a major increase in poverty, and it has created a huge cost on industries, business, and firms. The rate of poverty at independence in 1970 was 7%, and since then it has increased more than fivefold and currently stands at around 40%. As a result, several questions arise. One, is there a limit to trade liberalization in a small island developing nation like Fiji? Two, will the gains from trade liberalization more than offset the costs from trade liberalization? Three, will further trade liberalization and free trade free more people from the trap of poverty? Thus, my thesis develops an economy-wide general equilibrium model which analyzes the impact of reducing tariffs on government revenue, economic growth, employment, and in particular household incomes and poverty. Providing answers to these questions is particularly important from a policy perspective, as Fiji is currently in dire need of policies to stimulate job creation and poverty alleviation.